Spoiler alert, we're unpacking the whole plot, twist by twist. If you're spoiler sensitive, hit pause and come back when your TBR list catches up. Cheers!
Welcome to the podcast where our reading habits are unhinged.
And so are we.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Miranda.
And this
is Marginally Unwell.
One of these days, you'll get in on this.
This.
And we're back at our normal
studio.
For now. For today.
Yeah, I kind of like the setup. That was
the table.
Okay, yeah, the table's nice to have this.
I don't know what's going to
for obvious reasons.
Yes, but yeah, for today we're back, and this week we are stepping into the rainy streets of London with The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. What looks like an open and shut celebrity suicide quickly unravels into something far more complicated. As we talk about private eyes, hidden motives, and first impressions that don't tell the full story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old.
It was quite the book. I have a lot to say and not a lot to say at the same time. So I guess let's just jump right into it.
Valid.
All right. First up, what were your expectations going into this book? Did it meet for a challenge?
I thought it was going to be a really like glitzy, glammy. Like, is she murder mystery? Because he's portrayed as like this down on his luck, private eye that has a harsh past.
Yeah.
He's going into the world of like models, fame, and paparazzi, and so I was thinking it was going to be like him kind of ruffling their feathers and all this, which
he kind of did.
Yeah, he kind of did, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more, more on the, he's walking on the set of the Housewives of Rainy Street or something,
Yeah.
But it didn't. It was fine. It didn't meet my expectations, but it challenged them.
That's fair. That is fair. It was definitely some challenging in there. I don't think I really had any expectations of the actual story premise.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about this in the last episode. We, announced that we were going to be reading this book. Was that this is actually the pen name of J.K. Rowling. Having loved Harry Potter, I guess I kind of went into it with really high expectations because obviously I love it so much. And I wouldn't say that it didn't meet the expectations of the writing. It was just not. I don't even know.
The writing was good. I think it was the engagement.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably why she used the pen name, because
there was a lot going on in this book. Some of it needed, some of it not, I feel. So, but like I said, I don't feel like I had expectations of the actual story, so I don't think that had any weight either way. But
yeah,
I guess, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's like that.
Yeah, I mean, there can be a lot going on in your eye. You're just prime example.
Well, sometimes I feel like when there's too much going on, I can't. I feel like it's rare being a primarily fantasy reader, because usually with fantasy stuff, even if there's not a lot going on, there's usually a lot of characters, a lot of world building, stuff like that is more fantasy.
Yeah, but it's also paced out.
Yeah, this was just a lot the whole time.
All at once.
It was with the thing, drinking from a fire hydrant. Yeah.
A water hose or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think maybe, I don't know where the thought is around that, because I feel like sometimes they do that just to red herring that's,
they're throwing so much at you so that way you can't
yeah, but I know we kind of talked about this separately while we were kind of reading through the book, but that book, what was it, the Murder in the Family, that one, that was also drinking from a high fire hose. That was a lot going on all at once. It was going into those people's lives, it was going into how they were connected, how they were all intertwined, but I felt as though I keep up more with that than I could with this.
I would agree with that, but I feel like that was more, I don't know, because that was like how many people, like 8 people or something that was on the show.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we were getting a lot more detail about their like backstories and stuff, but I don't know. This had, it was just a lot. It was a lot. To wrap up that question,
It was a lot.
my expectations were more about the writing instead of the story, and the writing, although not bad, it was just a lot different than what I anticipated it being.
Next question. Move on from there. How did the pacing work for you? Did it feel slow, steady, or perfectly suspenseful? I think we kind of dug into this a little bit in the previous question, but honestly, I felt the pacing was really slow. That maybe did get a lot of information all at once, but none of it was engaging. Well, not that it wasn't engaging, but like gripping. You know, it wasn't. It was just hard to get engaged with the pacing and maybe like the interrogation, but like questioning all of these random leads that he was getting.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find a rhythm or a path, and I think he was just kind of going his own way, piecing it together at his own way he makes it make sense. But I don't know, it just didn't feel like it was like the POV of the character that you're reading from. You don't get much like, where's he going with this?
Yeah, I do feel like it was steady. I just don't think I liked the pace. Like, I think it stayed the same.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing.
That's what I mean. It's like this.
But also, something that, like, just now talking through this, thinking about other, like, murder mystery, this type of book, I feel like there are other big things that happen, like, throughout the book. Because they're throwing, like, red herrings in there and stuff like that. And I don't really feel like, until you find out, like, the end, I don't feel like there was any, like, big, like, oh, dang, like, I can't believe that happened type of thing.
Yeah.
I never had any of those moments where I feel like in other books, like, it may not actually be related to the murder, but you're like, oh, crap, they did what with who? And it's, like, wild. So it was all just, like, focused on this one end game, which, I mean, was a big, it was, like...
I agree, because...
That's the only thing I'm, like, thinking. Maybe that's what it was, that it was just, like, the whole thing was just for this.
It was a very dense book, and it was a very, like, long and not... To me, the pacing wasn't engaging. Like, there was a lot going on, there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of information that he's getting, he's going through, like, this different type of world, whatever, navigating through it. And not to say that there weren't moments that I didn't like, or that I liked, or whatever. But even whenever we were reading the Sometimes I Lie book, like, you would get, like, towards the middle and beginning middle, you're like, you get that. It, like, something is, like, off, and you get, like, those entries, and then you get...
When you thought the husband was, like, a POS, and, like, all the things. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like there was anything like that was, like, here's this big thing that happened, whether it was, like, real or not. It was literally all just, like, him investigating the story.
Yeah, I agree.
Which was dynamic with, like, the amount of characters and, like, in depth, like, how it was. It just, I think, was very different than, like, I think what we're used to in, like, a mystery.
Yeah, it was more mystery, less thriller.
I think I said murder mystery, which
this is what that is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Instead of, we're used to, like, a mystery thriller, where this is more murder mystery.
Yeah.
And I don't think we actually read a lot of those. I think it's more mystery thriller.
Yeah, evidently.
I think we need the thrill. We're working all this out in real time, you guys, because we can just tell you how many conversations we've had about this book and not being able to pinpoint.
But it is that it's not that it's not bad, it's that it's not...
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just we couldn't figure out, like, what it was that we weren't, like, connecting with. We literally had so many conversations about it. So
What is it?
that's crazy that just kind of like popped up out of nowhere.
I'm just need to begin this setting.
I guess so. Was this a mystery that kept you guessing, or did you suspect the solution early on?
I suspected it early on.
Yeah.
I feel like with her adoptive brother or whatever, him being like so performative with the detective, I was like,
Yeah,
that's awkward.
I suspected it pretty early on, especially whenever he was like first in the office and they were talking about the other brother Charlie that died. I was like, something's off.
Yeah.
The only thing I couldn't figure out till much later in the book is like the why he would do it, because the investigation was like over, right? They like ruled it a suicide, everything. So like he got away with it.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't figure out like why are you bringing this back up until we got more of the other people's stories, and then it made more sense.
And then, it did make more. Yeah, I agree. Like, why her cat just jumped up. Her cat Lynx and I have a very interesting friendship. Like that. She's a good cat, but sometimes she attacks.
She's real temperamental. Okay. She's a very dramatic thing. We're gonna jump in that window. Okay.
And assault us.
Moving on from that.
Yes.
Until we get attacked. So what were we talking about?
Yeah, the mystery.
Oh yeah.
If it kept us guessing or not. I would say it kept me guessing as to why he was putting on this whole show and scenario versus like trying to figure out like who actually, like, was it a suicide or was it a murder?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all knew that it was not a suicide from page 1. Like, could you imagine if we read that whole book and they're like, no, it actually was a suicide?
However, it's 800 pages. I don't know how many pages.
It's not even. It's like less than 500. I was shook.
Why did it feel like it was that long?
I don't know.
There's no thrill.
Anyway, yeah, I saw it because when I went and put my thing on Goodreads, and it was like 480 something pages, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
I was thinking like 750, 800.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that puts it in perspective for you guys,
it was very tense.
It was. What mood or atmosphere did the book create for you?
I mean, I liked the London setting.
I liked the environment it was in. I don't like that it really took advantage or dramatized what it could have been. Like with him being a veteran with that loss of limb, and he's gruff and he's, not everyone's cup of tea, and with all of these socialites and all of this, I feel like that could have been played up. I mean, yes, it was a little bit, but I feel like that could have been played out a little bit better. Like how, you get I'm thinking of the other book, Murder in the Family, how they kind of like closed off everybody else, like the socialites stuck together, even though they didn't know even if they partially suspected somebody, their lives are so intertwined that if they got made out, they didn't want to be dragged into it for whatever dealings or connections they may have had together. And I think there was an opportunity missed with that, with the socialites playing off of each other. It happened a little bit. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying, like, it could have been more exaggerated.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Because honestly, there really wasn't a lot on, like, the social dynamics of things, I feel like, as there could have been, with the fact that they, like, brought up with, like, the neighbors and stuff were a little bit uppity, and, like, he was a big time, like, producer or something. Things like that. And while, like, he obviously had an arrogance about him, like, because of that, it really, like you said, didn't, like, lean into the, like, social status of things as much as maybe could have been. I don't know. I don't know if I would have liked that more or not, but I could definitely see what you're saying.
The drama.
Yeah.
Give me the drama.
What were your first impressions of Strike, and how did they change by the end?
I think I liked him the same, and he stayed the same to me, at least, throughout the whole thing. I thought that he was kind of like this lone wolf. he likes the people that he likes and is loyal to like his receptionist or his secretary.
Yeah.
And how he's like asks her to go get coffee when he damn well knows that they don't have coffee. But then also is like very appreciative and, you know, respects her and all of these things. So he has his like own way about his stuff. I always thought that he was just kind of like this gruffer guy that sticks to his own. He's not influenced by anybody. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm gonna figure it out whether or not you like me too or not.
Yeah. I do think in the beginning it was more played up. Like, I don't know, maybe this is just me reading into something, but I feel like in the beginning it was more played up that he, like, his circumstances were, like, caused by him. Like, he was the problem. And I'm not saying, like, he didn't cause any of the issues in his life, but, like, as we got to know, like, more of his backstory, like, with his ex and, like, his dad and, like, everything like that. And then, obviously, we found out that he was a vet, lost a limb, and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all these different things, like, contributed to certain situations. And so, well, I didn't think, like, negatively about him in the beginning. Like, I could see, like, how your, like, mindset would shift,
Yeah.
like, as you got to know him more. See, yeah, I felt like same as you, that he was just, like,
A little down on his luck.
on his own, but down on his luck, and, like, trying to just get through,
Yeah.
and trying to, like, figure out this murder.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, or alleged murder.
I actually have that.
Yeah.
How does Strike's physical injury affect his work and his perspective on life? So he obviously lost his limb. We just kind of talked
Yeah.
about that. So he lost his leg in the Afghan. Did they say Afghan? I feel like Afghanistan.
I think that's what he said, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't quote us on that. He lost it in the war.
Yeah.
Serving.
I don't know if they said that that's where he was or that's where the other dude was. I don't know. Regardless, he was in war, lost a leg.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it affected it that much. I
I
mean,
don't
it
think
was
so.
brought up in, like, situations, but, like,
Yeah, I think we entered the story. Well, he was introduced to this, you know, PI case while he was still trying to navigate his new life without the limb and, you know, divorcing his wife and all these things, right? And I think he also forgets sometimes that he's missing a leg, and I hear that happens a lot. Because I'm thinking about that one a specific scenario, like whenever he was getting all like excited towards the end, whenever he spoke to the mother, and he was like trying to make a phone call. He's like, oh, I just found something out. I need to call somebody. And he was trying to leave the estate, and he misstepped. He put too much weight on his prosthetic leg, and then ended up falling down the stairs. So he's like, oh man, I got so excited, I forgot. Well, I'm missing a leg. And he's like all in pain. He's trying to play it off like he's okay, and also trying to get into a cab or something. So I don't think it necessarily holds him back, but I also think that he's still going through an adjustment period with the prosthetic as well. Like, he's still going through that.
which maybe that's, like, mirroring a lot of what's going on in his life. It's like he just split from his girlfriend or whatever the night before we come into the story.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of in his life. But what did you think of Robin's role in the investigation, especially given her limited official position?
I don't know, I really liked her. I understand it. Because she like really likes the job, but she can't and won't be able to like sustain her.
Yeah.
Because he isn't able to pay her very well because the PI business for his business isn't doing it good.
Yeah. He's already, like, owes everybody and their mother. And
she's like, am I getting a salary? Am I going to get a check this week? But I like that she sticks with him, even though he's like sleeps at the office. He's drunk half the time, smokes. It's just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Just kind of off-putting, to most people.
Yeah.
And she's like, get drunk again. He like puts her in like these awkward spots where it's like, would you like some, with prospective clients, would you like some coffee? And Robin's like, damn well we ain't got no coffee. Like, what are you doing?
But she found the coffee.
She found coffee and she brought it. So
she made me think of, obviously without all the money, but Pepper Potts.
Putting up with a bunch of like
shenanigans.
Yeah.
But she's like really good at the job, but also like low key loves her job kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why she like deals with it.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That's what it was like giving me. She was so cute. She was like young and just starting out in her life, but she was like so excited because she was into the like investigation part of things.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really funny. I thought too, like a lot of the time she was like one step ahead with like getting him information and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought that was really cute too. She was so eager. And then at the end, whenever she came on initially with the temp agency.
Yeah.
They sent her over, and then she ended up really liking it. And he was like, I can't afford it. And so then she was like, well, just pay me outside. Like, we'll just work out a deal. And then at the end, she ended up finding a job, taking another role. But then she was like, I really want him to ask me to stay, even if it's like.
Yeah, and she knows his finances, so she knows she knows how much it would be around if he were to offer her a job.
Yeah. And she was like, I could save for this much. And he was like, that's exactly what I could afford.
What a coincidence.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
I did really like her character.
Yeah, it was funny.
We kind of just went into this, but how does the dynamic between Strike and Robin contribute to the story? I think I'm just going to say humanizes. It humanizes Strike. Because she's like so opposite of him.
Yeah.
So I think they have like a really cute dynamic, like you were saying with Tony Stark and Pepper Potts.
Yeah.
He's so eccentric and he's so gruff, and she's so like bubbly and clean and fresh, and so is she.
Yeah. And then he like also knows she could do like so much better because she's so smart and like really good at her job and all the things. So yeah, I feel like it gave it. Yeah, more like humanized or gave more like lightheartedness to the story of like this relationship versus like all the other ones that were discussed were around, murder, suicide situation and like who contributed to what and who was taking from her life and like all these things that were like so much toxic relationships were being talked about. So I think it was a good juxtaposition for the story to have. The two of them be like so cute.
Yeah, I agree.
Which secondary character stood out to you most and why?
Other than the secretary, Robin, I would say, what's that guy's name?
Guy.
Oh, Guy.
Samay.
He's He's a fashion designer that was, what was her name? Lula's best friend. I really liked him. He was so sassy.
Yeah.
So sassy. And they're like the tabloids are trying to like weaponize him. I'm not too sure. That's not the right word. But like, for example, were stating that she had passed in one of his dresses, and his team, his publicist team, put that out there. That way they could get a leg up in their industry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that is absolutely not that she wasn't wearing it, but he's like, she was my friend, she died, this isn't a part, like, that shouldn't be.
He was like, it was a gorgeous picture, and that's why it's out there, not because of.
So he didn't, I feel like he really was grounded, and I really enjoyed that. I think he was like genuinely her friend.
Yeah.
And tries to hold back some of that industry. So I really liked him. He was one of my one that I liked.
Yeah, I feel like he stood out the most to me as well. I don't know, the driver guy, I don't remember his name, but I liked him too. The one who was like kind of her friend, and he was the only one that could like drive her, and she got upset whenever he was gonna like drive that rapper guy. But that, so he was kind of funny, and yeah, but I really liked Guy and Robin, obviously. honestly. But I feel like she was more than just a secondary character.
Yeah. Did the fashion and celebrity what accent was
I
that?
don't know. You sounded like
What?
Amanda Bynes.
Yeah. What did she say?
Got a lifetime of knowledge. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I was like, there's something specific she says just like
Yeah.
That's why it popped in my brain.
Yeah. I'm thinking of
Dude, that's such a good movie.
Bella.
She's the man.
She's the man.
That's what
Yes.
it's from,
Golly. What a throwback.
Anyway, that was the whole
Gotta watch that. Did the fashion and celebrity world add to the mystery or distract from it? I didn't think there was enough of it.
Yeah,
Didn't say
I mean,
that.
yeah, you kind of touched on that. I definitely don't think it distracted from it at all. Because I, again, don't think like the social standing and things that really played.
It wasn't
Like-
played up as much.
Yeah, because obviously it did. Because there was like a couple, like her one friend who really wasn't. She wasn't like a big name or anything like that. And
Oh,
then,
the
like,
other model.
I don't know, was she a model? I don't know. The one that all the other ones were like basically thinking that she was just using her, and Lula like bought her a bunch of stuff and whatever. But then come to
Oh.
find out she was like the only loyal one.
Yeah.
Like that, or and then obviously like her biological mom was like hard against time.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely like different
dynamics.
social
Yeah.
dynamics, but it really wasn't played into, like you were saying, like super hard.
Mhm.
So I don't feel like it really added or distracted from it, because I feel like
You got just enough to understand the perspective, but it wasn't
Yeah, it was, like,
enough
just
for
enough
it
to know
be.
that this was like a big story.
Yeah.
That it was a big story, but like there was nothing really beyond that, I feel like.
Yeah.
So other than that aspect, I feel like it could have been any kind of social standing,
Yeah.
and it would have been the same
Yeah.
thing.
I agree.
Again, we kind of already touched on this. Were there clues you noticed in hindsight that felt obvious was revealed?
I think because we read a lot of we can see
I mean,
the
I
patterns
said-
a lot.
Whenever they were first talking about Charlie dying, I was like, some things.
What a well placed clue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I think we pick up on clues early on, especially with like how they're placed. So I think with like murder mysteries, sometimes thrillers, like if you read those, like you really kind of start to tell like when the author puts in certain clues
Yeah.
and like certain spots, like you start to notice that kind of pattern. And then it turns into, okay, well, this is a high more than likely event that this person did it, but now you're trying to figure out why. So then you shift gears from like, okay, you're pretty aware of who did it, but what is the motive or what was the reasoning or whatever that may be. I was with you like that as well. I was thinking like he just wanted solidarity and making sure like there wasn't any other questioning of why he didn't do it. That was my thought going in the beginning.
Yeah. Because I feel like the other ones that were tried to turn in there, like about the mom's dynamic, like bio mom and adoptive mom. I feel like they tried to kind of throw that in there as like a potential, like something was going on.
Mhm.
And then also with the Steegwees, the neighbors that were downstairs. Pretty early, I was like, he knows something, but he doesn't want to get caught up in the big thing. And that's why
Yeah.
I was like, there's something weird with them, but it's not the thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think you kind of, when you read a lot of them, yeah, it kind of gets easier to,
Find the patterns.
yeah. And so also, like you said, and like I said earlier, that I was pretty sure it was the brother, but I just didn't know why. Why would he be bringing it back up whenever it was like put to
Disclosed.
rest? Yeah, because like again, you got away with it. So
Mhm.
that was more what I was trying to figure out versus like who it was.
Yeah.
It was more like, why are we still talking about this?
Why is it so relevant? How did the interviews and witness accounts shape your understanding of the case?
I mean, I don't know that it was a lot. This was the part that was a lot because there were so many like secondary characters, like everybody, because it was not just like, oh, the people around her, her friends and family, but then you had like the maintenance people at the apartment and like the cleaning lady and the drivers and like literally everybody everywhere. And then you had the other characters from like Strike's building that like worked in other areas, and then his past stuff, and then Robin's husband, and it was a lot of characters, a lot of interviews. I guess that is what kind of ends up shaping it was the interviews, like especially with because finding out like she was kind of the only one she could trust, and that's what ultimately led to like her knowing too much and why the brother brought this back up.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it gives you a better understanding of why he would be bringing this back up whenever he was the one that did it. And I don't know, but I also feel like a lot of it was like red herring, trying to throw you off because like, oh, the moms were like this, or that the producer guy was like this, or like leaning into Lula's like mental health struggles, and so it probably was a suicide, like that kind of thing.
Dismissing it.
Yeah.
What I took away from the interviews is, and I'm sure this happens with all kind of like different cases, but what I took away from this in particular, because he had so many interviews with so many different people, that everyone that he spoke to was only giving him a portion of the information he was looking for, because everyone was trying to hide something that would criminalize them, or they don't want coming into light or whatever, but they were wanting to help the case. So they're picking and choosing what to give him, which then hinders the investigation.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, you did these terrible things or whatever, but that's not what we're trying to get at here. We're trying to get at what's going on, what this main thing. We're not trying to side quest it. So I found that interesting. I feel like was seeing that a lot more in this book than other ones, because there was a lot of investigating.
Yeah. The only other thing I learned from the investigations was how much everybody fucking smoked in this.
Honestly, so many cigarettes.
Dude.
So many cigars.
It was wild.
It's like the 50s.
There was one point towards, I guess it was probably the last like quarter of the book. He was talking with one of her friends. I think it was one of the other models, and she took him to go see Duffield, her Lula's ex. And they're like talking, or they're about to like be going, but before that he's talking to her, and it says that she puts out a cigarette in a Coke, and it like extinguishes whatever. And then I think there's like one or two lines, and then it's like she offered me a cigarette and then like lit one up with her. So I'm like, she's straight chain smoking. And every time I feel like dialogue started, which was a lot in this book, they were like, so and so was lighting a cigarette. They asked me if I wanted a cigarette. And I was like,
they were stressed.
We get it. Everyone is smoking a lot. It was like holy crap. But it was like, it seemed to always be like during the dialogue. So during the interviews, it was like a lot of smoking. It was crazy. That was wild. But
I thought that too. It was like... Okay.
How does the novel explore fame, wealth, and public perception versus private reality?
I'm just gonna go into what I was saying before. It's like, maybe I didn't finish the thought. My thought was, Strike was probably thinking, wow, she's like this famous, everyone loves her, but then like digging into her life, she really had no one she could trust. Everyone was in it for an ulterior motive. They were being selfish or whatever. They're trying to hide something or utilize or take advantage of a situation. So I think she only had, like 3 people that she could really submit. Her friend, was it Rochelle? And then her other brother, which we haven't even started talking about.
Yeah.
So,
we didn't really find out.
So, foreshadowing here. yeah, she was very limited in people that she could really be genuine with, and were genuine with her. So yes, she's like up here, but she's also very isolated.
Yeah. Well, I also think that the perception of everything too, like whenever you're in the public eye, then like people believe what they want to believe, basically. Like
There's
once,
so much
once
information.
they choose a narrative,
Yeah.
everything they see, it like in that direction. And so I do think it skews things, and it's easy for people. It's a lot easier for people to be like, "Oh, well, she had mental health problems," and like, so even though everybody was so shocked by it, and she seemed so happy, like we know she had mental health problems, so like obviously it was suicide. It was just like kind of that sort of thing, and like even with like you were saying with Sine and like them trying to drag him for the photo and stuff like that. Like that's
It
not
wasn't
even
even him.
about that. Yeah.
It was his team.
So that was like kind of crazy.
Okay. And in what ways does the book comment on mental health, and how is it discussed? How it's discussed or dismissed. So this has been a running theme throughout the.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. It just comes naturally.
Yeah, I mean, I said it already that I feel like it's easy to dismiss it as like her death is a suicide, because like as soon as the like she had any mental health anything going on, then it's easy to just be like, oh well, yeah, it must have been that then, and be kind of dismissive. And then also people just being like kind of judgy about the fact that like, well, she has everything, like what does she have to be depressed about, basically. But then she has all this stuff going on. Obviously she was adopted, and she's looking for her biological family and things like that. There's so much that people don't know.
Yeah.
They see a fraction of somebody's life, and I think that they know everything. And so it's easy to like dismiss it as like, oh well, she has everything in the world, all these opportunities. So like, how could she possibly like dismissing the validity of like her having any sort of mental health problems, and then also at the same token, like automatically ruling her death a suicide because she
if it's
she was
narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I think it is dismissed, and I think it. I mean, they're trying to shed light onto like obvious, like what you're saying, that not everything is black and white. There is gray. There are other things happening that people aren't seeing, and even if you try and push your own perspective and your own story out there, well, it's like you're pushing your own story out there, and you have 10 other people paparazzi, pushing this other one because that's what is interesting. That's what's grabbing. That's what's engaging to the people.
Yeah.
And that's what sells. So, yeah. It's just people want to see that shocking headline, and then they want to see the conclusion and then move on.
Yeah. Do you think justice was fully served by the end of Wire?
I guess, kind of, because they got the brother. I don't know if we're going to talk about that. They got who actually did it. They realized that he was able to find evidence that it wasn't a suicide. He got a confession. He got a little bit of a scuffle over it.
Yeah.
So it was a semi-exciting ending. No?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he went to jail, but I will say the ending was, so she had towards the end of talking about Lula here. Yeah, towards the end of her life, she had actually found out that she had a biological brother, and so she was like in contact with him. And I don't even know where I was going with that. Anyway,
she got in contact with him, and before she got in contact with him,
so at the very end, after Strike and John, the adoptive brother, the one who actually killed her, they got into their thing, and then he was arrested, and then Strike was talking to the biological brother at the end, and he was basically like, do you think like there's no way he's gonna get out, right? And so
Leaves the door open.
I don't think he's like being actually put away because he's also a lawyer, and I think he's gonna get out somehow. But the other brother was worried about it because throughout the whole thing, one of the big themes was that she had told a couple of people, and there was allegedly this will out there where she had left everything she had to her brother. And it's assumed throughout the whole book that it's the brother who hired Strike, it's the adoptive brother John. And then come to find out it actually wasn't, and that was part of the reason why John was pissed and killed her because he wanted her money. And
But she was actually in debt and owed a bunch.
Yeah, and she was leaving all her stuff to her brother, but it was her biological brother that like people didn't know about, what he knew about. So I don't really know if it was fully served in the end. He's obviously in jail as of us reading the book, but like, does he stay there? Does he get punished? Because she was not the only one that he killed. Also, he killed her friend that like basically knew this was happening, and then he also killed his brother whenever they were kids.
Yeah.
So 3 people. I don't know if that's really justice served, but he's in jail as of right now. So I guess.
Yeah, but Strike also broke his jaw. He got the money.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say, based off of the original, like why John started this whole thing, is he wanted her money, which was approximately $2 million.
Yeah.
And he was in debt. He was all of these things, and he lost all the money. His reputation and character is now not good. He's still in debt. His adoptive mother is passing away, and he's never really gotten the praise or recognition or love or anything that he's been seeking from his adoptive parents, his adoptive father and mother. He didn't get any of that. Yes, he's in jail. He may leave because he is semi-social standing and also a lawyer. But he also loses everything else that he's been trying to maintain throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
So, in a way, it is an eye for an eye.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Like
he didn't lose his life, but yeah,
his job was pretty. So he's got to drink through a straw for like what 3 to 5 months.
I'm still gonna say that's not 3 deaths, but yes, well, as much justice as could be served, I guess, was served. But
yeah.
So
he worked that hard and got nothing out of it. It's up for interpretation. I don't know. Justice is hard to like.
Yeah.
Could have been more. Yes. Was it enough or not? Did he get what he was trying to work for his entire life? Absolutely. Anyway, how does class difference play a role in the story? Not enough. I think it's interesting throughout the book too. Is like the theme kept coming up. People with money always want more money. That kept coming up, and then also, the people like her biological mom. She kept saying, "Oh, she said that there was a will. Do you think she left me anything?" Because you can see like she. I don't know what her relationship was with her with I know that they found each other and stuff, and Lula kept asking her questions about her biological father, and the biological mom, kind of kept brushing her off and giving her a little bit of information here and there until she kind of like was able to piece together and investigate that whole other thing. But I just thought it was interesting that whether it was they were poor or middle class or whatever, they wanted her money. Whether that they had they were rich and had money, they still wanted her money. No matter what, yeah, they still had their hand out.
It really had nothing to do with, I think, the social standing. It was more about the actual person and the relationship that they had. Because there were people in her life from both sides of like socially like economic like different
classes,
and both of them had people that both wanted something from her, and then both sides had people that like were actually there for her.
Yeah.
So I think it was really like it doesn't really matter. It's are you
They
a
treat
good
you the
person
same.
or not?
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't have anything to do with where you're standing.
Yeah.
You could be looking at it from either angle. How did the multiple viewpoints and backstories affect your engagement?
I don't think it affected the engagement as much. I think it just needed more drama. So I don't think it was the writing or the backstories.
I I don't know because it was a lot. It was a lot of viewpoints. There were so many interviews.
It was.
But again, I don't necessarily think that specifically. I don't think the multiple viewpoints is what I was having a hard time with engagement wise.
Did the London setting feel like a character of its own? Why or why not?
I don't think so. I like a London setting. It gives a good atmosphere to like a mystery, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some books where like the setting is a major impact on the story itself. And this I don't feel was that. Like this could have been set anywhere and it would have been the same exact story.
I feel like it didn't lean into it as much as it could have.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, like the character, like Kristen Hanna's book. So we talked about that at length.
Yeah.
The also, I'm thinking Charlotte Tilbury. It's not her.
Or McConaughey or something like that. Yeah.
Her environments are all like very gritty as well. Well, not just gritty, but it's its own character. Like there's so much in-depth description factors around it, and this is like, oh, it's raining outside. Oh, it's vague description.
It's like more so you can get a picture of what's happening, not that it's gonna have like any impact. Like not really. At least I don't feel like it did. And I don't know, maybe if that's just comparing it to books like where we've read where they've had like major impacts on the storylines, but I don't feel like this big one. Again, I feel like you could have set this literally anywhere and it would have been the same story, just maybe like different verbiage of like what they called things. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it really wasn't.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, would you continue the series? What makes you want to or not?
I'm not. I have other things that I would like on my short list.
Yeah.
This wasn't engaging enough for me. I don't know. We talked about this in what other book? How Does It Feel? I'm just not interested. Yeah.
So for me, I won't be continuing the series, I don't think. But I do feel like this is different for me than that one because How Does It Feel? I kind of struggled getting through it, and there was like some weird stuff, but I liked the ending, and the ending left on like, okay, what happens next in the story? We found out that there's like 8 books in this series, which is crazy. Did not know that.
We thought it was a standalone.
But really, it could be a standalone, and from what I'm gathering, like the other books continue with Strike.
Like, they're just different cases.
And so that's what I'm assuming. So it ended. Like things were wrapped up with this story. Like, I don't know, maybe the brother gets out or something and that could continue, but there really wasn't any like loose ends. Like they found out who did it, why, all the things, and it like wrapped up the story. So I don't feel the need to like, well, now I need to know what happens next because like that was the end of the story.
Yeah.
And so I think this is more just like a series that like it continues with the same tone, same investigator, but like different like cases, different stories like that. And so I feel like I'm okay reading this one and like setting it down where like, how does it feel? You know, you don't want to continue, but like, I want to know what happens next, like with what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the difference for me.
I see what you're saying with the difference there.
I also struggled with it.
This one was hard to get through. Yeah. It didn't really start engaging me until the last quarter or third of the book, where it was like, okay, things are exciting, things are starting to like come together.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like the first book in any kind of series really sets the tone for the full series. And I understand like that's not the case for everything. For example, like you were saying, Akatar in another episode, like the first book was dragging, and then from there, all the other books are so good. But to me, it's like I've already given the time for this one book, and this is the tone that I hear, my interpretation of the rest of the book. So if it weren't for somebody else, like a third party, like you or whoever, to say, "Oh, push through and read it," I probably would have started and read that series. Versus like this kind of thing, because I do read a lot of murder mystery thrillers, and where the first book, the case wraps up, but it continues with the main characters and other cases, I get invested with those main characters. So I want to know what happens to them. Like in this, if this series were to continue, my assumption would be like their private investigation business will take off. Like she will probably be an apprentice. He'll probably get into another relationship.
Yeah.
All these things. But this book the characters didn't grip me enough for me to continue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of standalone books that are in a series that I do still continue because of the main characters, and this wasn't. Yeah, this missed the mark for me.
Would you recommend this book to others?
No, I feel like there are other books that are more engaging, challenging, that I would recommend in like this type of category.
I don't really read this type of category, so I'm going to say that I would recommend it. I would be careful to be recommending it to people who are looking more for a mystery, like more like it's not people who maybe don't like thrillers, who don't like the like creepy aspect of things, stuff like that, but want like a mystery. That's who I would recommend this to. So I don't know, it's just not my thing, but I don't think it was bad. So yeah. Writing style.
I thought the writing style was really good.
Yeah, I think the writing was good. I feel like the characters were pretty dynamic. Like there was a lot of differentiating. It wasn't like you were just talking to the same people the whole time.
Yeah.
So the writing itself, I feel like, was actually good. It was just a lot. It was a lot of information in there.
Yeah.
And engagement with such on a lot, but just to recap.
Yeah, it was a bit of a miss for me.
Yeah, I really think I was missing more of like not necessarily. I feel like you were missing more of the drama part of it. I was missing more of like the little bits that you get before the like big twist, like the little twists. There wasn't really anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't paced out as well, which I think affected the movie.
I thought it was paced out fine. I just don't feel like there was any other twist. That was the story. It was that story and that's it. There was no other like
side twists.
Like not really. I mean, you found out that she like found her mom, things like that, but like it wasn't anything weird like oh dang. Like that came out of kind of nowhere. Again, whether it's like relevant to the full murder or not, I don't feel like there was really anything big like that. So I wish there was some more of that to keep me kind of like going. But yeah. Overall rating.
I gave this book a 3. I gave it a flat. It wasn't bad. To me, it wasn't good or outstanding, but it was a good book. It was a good book. It wasn't, I would just say average.
I gave it a 3. But I really feel like for the right person, this would be a higher up rating.
Yeah,
I just feel like it wasn't for me personally, but I feel it's so weird to say this because
the potential
I
was
did
good,
like it, but
it was a target audience.
Yeah, it was a good book. I personally I didn't really love it, and I struggled. I had the hardest time getting through this book. I was telling Miranda that I had to force myself, which is the first time in I couldn't even tell you how long, but I was like, I literally said to myself, like, okay, you need to read at least 30 more minutes. Like, you've got to, like, give it some more because I was having to force my way through this one. But again, it wasn't a bad book, and I think for the right person, this could be a 4 or even 5-star read. I really think that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't
we weren't its target audience.
Yes. So if you like a good
Mystery.
mystery,
This
this is it.
Yeah.
This is for you. So take that. And maybe read the whole series and let us know what you think, because I would love to hear somebody's perspective who really, really loves it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode. Next week, we're diving into romance in all its forms, from sweet to messy to downright heartbreaking, with the 7-year slip. So now's your chance to grab a copy, read along, and join us next week.